So we got to do a lot of stuff. First we trained. They taught us everything we need to know. This is a lot of what I was very lucky to learn at UC Davis in the Neuroscience program. Kim McAllister, Elva Diaz, they just did wonderfully good jobs of patience, dragging me along to learn these things like mini PCR, DNA sequencing. We're culturing different bacteria here that Reinhold's doing, and then he's taking out DNA samples, and we're going to basically measure that DNA and sequence it, which is pretty cool. It's exactly what they use on the International Space Station. And this is us doing it in missions. It's called mini PCR, so it's just a tiny little way that they're sequencing DNA in these sort of biology experiments. We also did psychological experiments. So all of you guys, how many of you guys like surveys on Sona? Nobody. Guess what? I did this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. On our iPads here, filling out tons of psychological surveys, team cohesion questionnaires. How do you feel? How do you feel now? What about now? How do you feel now? Has it changed since now? Forever. I never want to touch an iPad the rest of my life. So this is sort of the second story of theirs. I was pretty happy. It looks like Shelly didn't like that test. But so we do that. We can watch some TV for nothing from the outside world, but you can bring DVDs. Paul was from, grew up in Minnesota, so he was a Twins fan. This is from the '91 Twins World Series or something. So we watched a lot of that. But my big excitement was, as a neuroscientist, we got to do a ton of neuroscience. And so you guys know about MRI. I got to do all three in one day. It was like a neuroscience triathlon. We got our MRI, our brain scans. We did something called functional infrared spectroscopy, which is a measure of blood flow in the frontal cortex that was linked to how we controlled the Canadarm robot. And then, what was really cool is I did an MRI for a mission preparing for Mars while I was wearing my Mars socks. So like, it shows you how big of a dork I am. But like, that was pretty cool. I really like that. And then of course, as an EEG guy, this is what I was trained on for 15, 16 years. This is what I do. And to be able to do that at NASA with all these electrodes on was just truly amazing. And it was just shocking that after all these years of being trained, having no idea what would relate to space at all, how to do this research, right? And we all do this in classes and labs. I'm sitting there having NASA say the same things that my professors trained me to say and to do. And it was just a great reminder of how important that education was, how important and how good that training was from some of the best in the world that we were lucky to train with at Davis as well as College of New Jersey. So this is me way back in the Stone Ages when I was in college. I actually had hair, and this is me doing EEG back then. I was like 20 years old in 2001, and then now here doing it in NASA in a flight suit, lifting weights in the habitat, and I just couldn't be more grateful for the mentors and the training that we received at Davis from fantastic people. Steve Locke, obviously a luminary in the field, wrote the Bible of ERPs, Andy Linus, Jan Linus, Tron Ranganeth, and of course the colleagues Arna Ekstrom, Andrew Watros, and Javier Lopez Calderon. I drew so much from what I learned from these guys, and I loved being the dumbest guy in the room with these guys, because it is really hard not to be the dumbest guy in the room because they're brilliant. So I'll get your question maybe after.